Imagine waking up one day to find that your entire life savings are worthless. A loaf of bread costs billions. People are starving, and the streets are filled with anger and desperation. This was Germany after World War I. The world thought the war was over, but in reality, it had only planted the seeds for an even greater disaster. A man named Adolf Hitler promised to fix everything, and people listened. Meanwhile, across the world, Japan and Italy had their own plans for power. The world saw the warning signs, but no one stopped it. Then, in 1939, one invasion changed everything. What followed was the deadliest war in human history. But how did it all happen? Stay with me, because this story will change the way you see history forever. World War II didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was like a storm that had been building for years, and when it finally hit, it destroyed everything in its path. The roots of this war go back to the end of World War I. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, forcing Germany to take full blame for the war. They had to pay a massive fine, give up land, and shrink their military. This left the country humiliated and broke. Then came the Great Depression. People lost their jobs, businesses shut down, and in Germany, things got even worse. Inflation went out of control. Imagine going to the store and seeing the price of food double every single day. By 1923, a loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. People carried stacks of money just to buy basic groceries. They were angry, scared, and desperate for someone to save them. This is when Adolf Hitler saw his chance. He was a former soldier who had been jailed for trying to overthrow the government. But he didn't give up. He knew how to speak to people's emotions, and he told them exactly what they wanted to hear. Germany would rise again, and he would make it happen. In 1933, Hitler became the leader of Germany. Once he had power, he broke every rule in the Treaty of Versailles. He rebuilt Germany's military, took back lost land, and convinced his people that they were meant to rule over others. The world saw what he was doing, but nobody wanted another war, so they let it slide. Then in 1938, Hitler took over Austria without firing a single shot. He wanted more, so he demanded part of Czechoslovakia. Britain and France gave it to him, hoping that would satisfy him. But they were wrong. A few months later, he took over the rest of Czechoslovakia. Then came the final straw. In September 1939, Hitler invaded Poland. This time, Britain and France had no choice. They declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. At first, it seemed like nothing could stop Germany. Using a new strategy called Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, Hitler's army moved fast, crushing Poland in weeks. Then they took over Denmark, Norway, Belgium, and France. By 1940, Germany controlled most of Europe. Britain was the only one left standing, and Hitler sent wave after wave of bombers to destroy it. But Britain refused to give up. Their air force fought back, and Hitler couldn't invade. Then, in 1941, Hitler made his biggest mistake. He invaded the Soviet Union, thinking it would be an easy victory. But the Russian winter and fierce Soviet resistance slowed his army down. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Japan was expanding its empire. They saw the U.S. as a threat, so on December 7, 1941, they launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. America, which had stayed out of the war until now, had no choice but to fight. With the U.S. joining the war, everything changed. Factories worked day and night to produce weapons, and millions of soldiers were sent to fight. In 1944, the Allies launched the D-Day invasion, pushing Germany out of France. By April 1945, Allied forces reached Berlin. Hitler knew it was over. Rather than face capture, he took his own life. A week later, Germany surrendered. But the war wasn't over yet. Japan kept fighting. The U.S. wanted to end it quickly, so they dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The destruction was unimaginable, and Japan surrendered on September 2, 1945. World War II left the world in ruins. Over 40 million people lost their lives. Cities were destroyed, and entire countries had to rebuild from nothing. To prevent another war, world leaders created the United Nations. But the war also led to a new conflict, the Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Even today, the effects of World War II are still felt. It changed the way wars are fought, shaped modern politics, and redrew the map of the world. The war may have ended in 1945, but its impact will never be forgotten. And that's a wrap on today's incredible journey through history. If you found this video informative and eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. And hey, don't miss out. Click that bell icon so you never miss an intriguing story like this one. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Until then, take care.